Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending the Out and About Live Advice Centre today here at the Southwest Motorhome and Campervan show. We've had some fantastic talks today and we've got another one to follow now. Please welcome Darren from Urban Motorhome and Tash from Life Beyond Bricks talking about being a digital nomad. Thank you.
We've got the clap, we can leave.
I was going to say, that's
we
it.
can leave.
See you later. No, that's great. So, yeah, thank you all so much for coming out this afternoon. This is where I'd normally do my rain gag. Are you in here because it's raining? But it's not, thankfully.
No, it's quite nice out there now.
It's fine. Now's your chance. So hopefully that means you're all here because you're actually interested. So that's fantastic. Right, so quickly, just in case, although I'm seeing quite a few familiar faces, but I'll just say it again anyway. My name's Tash, one half of Life Beyond Bricks. Live and travel full-time in my motorhome with my husband and 3 cats. Been doing that for nearly 6 years now.
Yep, and I'm Darren, the Urban Motorhome. I've been living in my motorhome for about 8 years now, on the road full-time. We've got quite a bit of experience, haven't we? A
fair bit of experience. And this is something that obviously, living on the road, everyone wants to know how to earn money.
Yeah.
So we haven't got a magic solution. We haven't, we're just going to give you ideas of if you're at a starting point where you're thinking, right, I want to travel, I want the freedom of not being stuck in one place. Yeah. Hopefully this is going to give you the foundations to start looking at what you can do.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I'm not going to tell you how to make £1 million tomorrow. Yeah, because I'd have £1 million tomorrow otherwise if I did. If I do that, we wouldn't be here, right? But like you say, it's a good foundation to start with.
Absolutely. So just to start with, what is a digital nomad? Because we hear this term chucked around quite a lot, but what actually is one? So it's defined as a person who earns a living working online in various locations of their choosing, so not at a fixed business location.
That's what we do.
Basically. Well, I'm a little bit hybrid, actually, in some respects, but we'll get on to that. So there's other ways to do it. So, for example, the ability to travel while still earning a living is my favourite thing about being a digital nomad, and it probably is.
Yeah, it's mine as well,
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something that I sort of did it the other way around. So for me, wanted to go long-term travelling, went all in, had a few bereavements and me and John decided that if we were going to do it, we're going to have to go all in. So sold the house, quit the jobs, had a gap year. So we didn't actually work in our first year of touring. And then, of course, we got to the end of the year and realised that we loved it so much that we wanted to... COVID obviously helped, so we couldn't buy another house anyway. But we have no interest. We want to keep doing this. So certainly for myself, I'm still figuring out how to earn money on the road. Yep. So that's kind of my take on it. But yours is a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, so I moved into a motorhome because ultimately I thought it'd be a good idea, and it turned out it was. So I moved into a motorhome, but I had a job as a lorry driver. So I was still a lorry driver for best part of 5-6 years. Still living in the motorhome day to day, doing my normal life. But I started a YouTube channel, and then I was running that as for the whole of them 6 years. Still running it today, and it just kept growing and growing and growing to a point where I became had the opportunity and lucky enough to quit my job and then start living full-time on the road, away from a fixed location, away from a fixed traditional job, and now I earn my income online through what I do.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've got quite different experiences of it. So it's just to let you know, you don't have to have something set up straight away if you've got the means to do one part of the puzzle first and then perhaps do the other part of the puzzle later. So I suppose a good starting place is things to think about. So if you are looking to start working on the road, the first thing is you need to work out how much you need to actually earn.
That is the most important, because if you can live as simple or as extravagant as you want, but you need to know that baseline, that number.
Yeah, because then obviously that can help you in deciding what you're going to do as a job, because then you might be that you're not fussed about your career or setting up your own business. It might be that you just want a job that serves enough.
Yeah, a bit of pocket money. You might have income already from various sources, which we'll talk about, and this might just be top up. This might be just restaurant funds, which I like that fund.
Travel tokens,
yeah.
So that's always a good starting point, and that's certainly exactly what I did. Yeah. Figured out how much you need to earn.
Self-discipline.
Yes, which is something we both still need to rein in a little bit.
Definitely.
So when you're you begin working on the road, And this doesn't have to mean if you're living in a van, because you might just be taking a gap year like we
Yeah,
did.
100%.
But you are going to be living and working all in the same space.
Yeah.
So certainly you need to make sure that you've got a set space where you can work comfortably, you're not distracted, and you need to be really like honest and rigid with yourself, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And
do, don't you, Darren?
Yeah,
Yes.
you do. I should take that advice. I really should. I mean, I've got quite a few seats in my motorhome, quite a big lounge area, but now I've got. I spin the passenger chair round, and that's away from, because I've just installed a TV. I don't know why. Distractions, but it's away from the TV, so that is like my workstation, and then my sofa is where I kick back, relax, watch TV, eat my dinner and all this and that from that table. So they're clear, two defined areas.
Yeah, and that's a really good way to look at it, actually. Same as in my motorhome, my dinette faces that way, so I can't see the rest of the van. So I can't worry about what's going on there, look at what the cats are destroying or anything like that. I'm facing that way. But it does really help, doesn't it, to have a nice, clear workspace. But also just set yourself some discipline. So maybe if you need to, set yourself some routine, set yourself some hours, decide how you want to do that. And one thing I will say, we were chatting about this the other night, weren't we? We're both night owls.
Yes.
So it works, because I don't know if anyone knows, I actually do work with Darren as well.
Yeah.
But it works really well for us because 10 o'clock, we're buzzing.
I start work at 10. That's probably when my brain turns on.
That's when we do some of our best work. But that's absolutely fine. So the self-discipline doesn't mean you have to stick to the old rigid rules of what your 9 to 5 did.
No.
Just means you do what's most productive for you. So do bear that in mind. Now then, on to the benefits. I think we all know what the benefits are.
Yeah.
Yes. Obviously, you get to work in locations like this. I think this is on the lake in Italy. Where was this one?
In Ghent.
In Ghent.
They've got some great food there. Great street food.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you get to go to places like this and still be able to, work and earn an income and support yourself. That's mine.
Yeah, that's our massive benefit. It doesn't matter where you can work. And it was a bit mind-boggling for me when I first started working sort of remotely and online that I could go to places like this and work.
Yeah.
And it felt really alien. So again, that's absolutely fine. I found it does take some getting into with the mindset.
It does. And you've still got to, like, when you are in these beautiful places, there is a bit of a mind shift as well, because you want to be on holiday. That is holiday. That, no matter how much you look at it, and no matter how much your to-do list is massive, and you've got to do X, Y, and Z, whether it's for yourself or someone else on the road, you're programmed to look at that as holiday mode. But it's something you have to turn that off at sometimes and put it,
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes it won't always be like this. We're just showing you the highlights.
Yeah.
It could be an industrial estate. It could be a car park.
Car park of Tesco's.
Yep, that is absolutely fine. It's kind of liberating when you realise you can,
You can do it anywhere.
Literally. So I tend to, well, actually, no, we'll get onto that later where I tend to go. Here we go. So
Different
what are
options.
the different options? So again, this is just from our experience, but we have broken it down into sort of 3 quite simple ways to look at it. So obviously your first option is to actually build your own business or brand.
Yeah.
So you build an online business where you work for yourself and it's your company. Now, doing something like that does take time to build.
Takes a long time.
Time.
So mine, like I said, I was doing it from day one, really, for 5-6 years.
5 years, whilst you were still working your
whilst
full-time
I was still
job.
working my normal job,
and doing that. But you put your all in, and obviously you will get out of it, what you put into it.
Yeah.
But it depends on at what point in your digital nomad journey you're at.
Yep.
If you are starting from that, you will need to build it from the ground up.
Yeah.
I did it slightly differently. So I had the luxury of John's wage whilst I sort of fell into my job, which I'll get onto in a second. So I didn't have to work another job while I was building that. So of course, if there's 2 of you, that might be an option, perhaps.
Yeah.
I know we've got friends in the audience that are doing the same. You've got one of you with the stable wage, with the income, and then the other one can use.
With this one, it has got to be something you like and you are passionate about, really, because I'm no hero or anything like that, but when you're doing 50, 60, 70 hours a week in a truck, and then you still got to go do other stuff on that, you can be very easy going and think, I'll just not do that this week. I'll just not do that this week. And that will not get you anywhere. So it has to be something you would like, enjoy, you can see yourself pushing through that and then doing it.
Definitely. And then we'll come on to the next option. So just a remote job. So one good thing to come out of COVID, if anything, was that, a lot more businesses and employers, a lot more jobs have gone remote now.
Yeah.
Or perhaps there's the option to transfer your job to be remote.
A lot of them are doing that, aren't they?
A lot of them, even what they call hybrid working,
Yep.
where you work from home some days, you go into the office.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically it's working remotely but for someone else. So it could be, like I say, that you just literally want a job that pays the bills for you to travel. So you could do something like that. You're working for somebody else. You might have set hours. That will give you quite a nice routine.
It'll give you a nice routine if that's what you want. If you're not, I'm not going to say disciplined enough for your own, but you don't want to go down that route. You just want, I want 15 hours a week. Give me them 3 days, 5 hours a day. These are my hours done.
Absolutely. And as I say, it could be an existing job that you could actually chat to your employers about and see if it's an option.
The last one. I love this word.
Digitalise.
Yeah, digitalise.
So this one is a bit of a twist on the sort of working remotely digital nomad, is take your existing skills and turn them into like an online course or online tuition. So, for example, the first one that pops to my head is like a yoga instructor.
Yeah, we've got quite a few examples of these, haven't we?
Yeah. Here we go. So we've got quite a few examples here. So, yoga instructor or online tutor, something along those lines. So just to give you some real world examples, we've got some examples here of the digital jobs and businesses. And then these are some of the ones like the remote jobs. Because
everything that happens online, there is someone that can do that job. I mean, there is endless amount of jobs on there out there to be done. There's various things that I am useless at, I am no good at, I just can't do, I don't want to do. But then there's people out there that are amazing at that. They love doing it, and that can be any of you guys that can fill that role.
Absolutely. That's how I ended up working with you. That's how I fell into my building my business. So this one is physical jobs, obviously, with a twist.
This is, I think, will be the most popular.
Yeah, because obviously for some people, so for example, in my previous life, I worked in the motor industry and I worked in retail. I can't take that on the road. No. And this is my husband, John, here. We didn't just put that photo in for bants. It does actually have a purpose. Yeah. So the way that we've got around it with myself and John is he's actually a motorhome technician. So quite handy for everybody here. And
mine always breaks, so he always fixes mine.
Yes.
Or I break it, and then I'm like, John.
So what we sort of figured out we can do is he's not working online, but we can work remotely. So he can take his job, take his skills, make them mobile, take them to other people. And that's working. Well, before he decided to fall ill and ruin all our plans, that was what we were doing. I joke.
Damn it.
I know. Got cancer, didn't he?
But, I mean, he could go one step further on that example. He could become like an online consultant. So if you've got something wrong with your motorhome, he could then do via video call, things like that. And then, and this applies to most of these. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So basically, anything could become digital if you've got the knowledge and experience that's valuable to other people.
Yeah. If you've done something for a long time, then that means you are ahead of someone that wants to do that. And that, I mean, if I could save a couple of years of a learning curve for the sake of XYZ money, then I'll do it. I don't want to go through all them mistakes. I'll just learn, It's standing on the shoulders of giants, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. See?
You just come up with that, didn't you?
No, I am wisdom.
It's his birthday today, so we'll allow him a few little things. So, yeah.
So we'll allow it today, but tomorrow we kick him in the shins.
Yeah, basically. I think that's fair. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody and just shows people that, you don't have to panic and suddenly have a degree in website design or be a graphic designer. It could be that you have an existing physical job and you find a way to make it work on
there's
the
a
road.
lot of people like Chef and Baker is one. A lot of people do online cooking courses now. They do their cookbooks, recipes, this, that and the other. There's so much out there that can be done through the web.
Definitely. Right, so we've talked about what the options are, but obviously sometimes I find it helps me to put things into, as I say, a real-world example. So we're quite open. This is what we do to earn money on the road. So we're on the wrong side. Yeah. So I'll start. So obviously over here, This is myself, my remote virtual assistant business. So I specialise in admin. I've picked the niche of working with travel bloggers, writers, creators, because obviously it's a field that I have experience in, and I'm very good at admin. And I didn't know that someone would pay me to be a pain in the bum with admin. It's brilliant.
I like your tagline, she's the extra hours in my day.
That is my business tagline. Thank you very much.
See, wisdom there as well.
That's enough. So that's obviously how I earn money.
Yeah.
But then myself and John, as a couple, we do have online platforms. We don't really earn money from them. We sort of toned down the YouTube a bit because we decided to go a different route. But we do obviously work. We do have that running.
Yeah.
We do earn a little bit from that. I write a magazine column. We're speakers at shows, so this is exactly what we're doing. And obviously John takes his repairs and electrical installs on the road. So that's examples of how myself and John do it. But for yourself?
Yeah, so for me, mine was mainly YouTube. So that's my main bulk of my brand is YouTube. I make videos every week. I've got that channel. I've got a few other channels which I run. So predominantly creating content and then working with brands and sponsors within that content. They pay to be in the videos or to go review something or be somewhere, and then allow them access to my audience. And then I do speaking events like this. But yeah, it's pretty much YouTube for me, to be fair. I am diversifying into other avenues to try and, lots of little pots.
I was going to say that's the key that we found is multiple revenue streams, incomes. So you're not relying on one thing, especially if it's something like what we're doing now, which is seasonal.
Yes.
You need to think about, longevity all through the year. Yeah. But hopefully this just shows you that you can be a digital nomad living in a van and not be on YouTube.
Yes.
There are other ways to earn money.
Yeah.
But obviously it can work out if you put the effort in. And then again, like you've already said, combined, you've got advertising revenue, sponsored content, and our own products, which we're working on.
Yeah.
So one thing I do get asked is, how do I actually find the business? So we both generate business by networking quite a lot. So if you haven't got a big budget to start, I don't have a website for my business. I literally started a social media page for it. Obviously, that didn't cost me anything.
Yep.
And I started talking. So my ideal client obviously hangs out at shows, like this and within my community. So I just started talking to people. I started networking. I've built up a little bit of a sort of a hopefully good reputation. And then people like yourself and my other clients then also do the talking for you. Yeah. So you don't have to have a huge advertising budget, or you can start literally from scratch.
You can bootstrap it all the way. And again, it's putting in that effort. If you've got the money to advertise, then you can advertise and you can go out there and do that. There's not a problem with that. But, making them connections, they are priceless. And going out there and talking to people and, within your industry or your target audience, your target customer, or that area that you want to be involved in.
Definitely. As I say, find out, it sounds really cheesy, but find out where your ideal client is going to be, whether that's an online space, in a forum, whether it's a physical thing like these sorts of shows, and just start chatting. It doesn't have to be all self-promotion. It doesn't have to be, arrogant, for want of a better word. Just a conversation. I mean, it's quite funny. I had a meeting with someone, was it last night or the night before?
Yep.
From someone that I dropped breadcrumbs with 2 years ago. And that was just started off by some conversations, and then we had a meeting here, and hopefully we're going to start working together in a week's time. So, it is a long game, but you put it in, you can get it back.
It does pay off. It does pay off.
Definitely. Here we go. So, the tools and equipment and resources. Again, this is based on our experience.
Yep.
And it's very generalised. Obviously, depending on what your niche is, there might be certain things.
There will be specific things for that area, yeah.
Definitely. But again, I do like to break things down into a nice little list. So we've broken it down into physical, software, and obviously insurances.
So we're going to need some sort of computer or a tablet. So we use MacBooks, don't we? Mm-hmm. And your phone. I mean, all this, most of us have got these already. So you can use them to what you've got. You don't need to go out and, if you've got a laptop, you've got a phone or a tablet, you don't need to go out and buy the biggest and best one now. Just use what you've got, and just make sure you like it and you know what you're doing with that, So it doesn't have to be brand new, does it?
Again, yeah, you don't have to go out and spend loads of money on things necessarily. I like what you said, actually. Most of us have already got it in our pocket.
Yeah.
Something that you could start with.
Yeah.
Another couple of things that I found helpful, decent noise-cancelling headphones.
These are brilliant.
Especially if, so for example, you live on your own
Yep.
in the van, but obviously I live with a partner and 3 cats, and trying to sit down and concentrate if they're on one, it's just not happening. So a decent pair of headphones, I can put on some nice working music, zone out and do my work. That really helps me. And they're also really helpful for if I go out to coffee shops, because sometimes I do actually need to get out of the van. I meant to say that when I was talking about workspace. Sometimes I need to actually have a clear space away from the motorhome. So I'll go coffee shops, garden centres, pubs, like things like that.
Yeah. But even when we're like, because we know we all work, like our friends and that, we all work online various ways, and we've got digital stuff going on. So even when we're all socialising outside and, we're all interacting around the campfire or just round the motorhomes, one of us might have our headphones on because we are doing something there and then. And like, I need to review a video or something before it goes live. So I'll put my headphones on. They're all interacting. I'm still within the social, circle, but I can zone out, focus on that for 20 minutes and then get back to it.
And sometimes it's nice to collaborate as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll sit and do that together. And I have found that looking out for co-working spaces when I'm travelling. So if we go into towns and cities, sometimes if you search online, there's co-working places where you can go. So sometimes being surrounded by other people that are also working, you don't know them, but it just creates that nice environment. And sometimes if I'm having a bit of a sort of foggy day, that helps to get me in the zone. So there's lots of ways you can adapt it to whatever suits you.
Yeah. Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi is obviously quite an important one.
It's quite an important one to be digital, yes.
But again, it can be as simple or as complicated as you need it to be.
Yeah.
So for example, in the motorhome, and similar to yourself, we have a fixed router with a booster aerial, that's always on. But in my micro camper, when I go away on my own, I literally have a Huawei, like a little hotspot router with a Smarty SIM that I top up as and when I need it. And that works absolutely fine for me. Yeah. So you don't have to spend a lot. No, big install.
Again, if that works, and you get Wi-Fi from coffee shops and here, there, and everywhere. Most places have got Wi-Fi these days. If you're going to go off real remote, or you're in a really bad area a lot, then there are other options. I'm just testing out an option at the moment. Starlink. It is expensive, so I wouldn't recommend jumping straight on it. It is like £85 a month, but it is. Internet in the remotest of places because it's satellite internet. But like you say, you can do it as easy as you want.
Absolutely. I love that you dropped the Starlink in again.
Well, you got
mentioned it every talk this weekend. So that's kind of the basic things that we found on the physical equipment side of it.
Yeah.
And then software, again, depending on what your niche is, obviously you may require specialist software, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, we use Google Drive, don't we?
Google is pretty much my whole ecosystem, to be fair.
Yeah, easy peasy. Doesn't cost us anything extra. We can all collaborate on it. In fact, we work on documents at the same time. Yeah. So again, that's all readily available to you. Yeah. And you can access that on a tablet, a phone,
yeah, it's really good because... Again, if you lose, like, I'm not saying you're gonna, but if it is all built and saved in the cloud, so you can then just randomly go into someone else's laptop, say, "Can I just use this for 10 minutes? I need to check a document." It's all there, and like you say, you can collaborate together with people.
It's really good, but then of course you can obviously actually spend money on software that is specific to what you need.
Yes.
So another one that I use with a couple of my clients is we've got Notion and Slack. So they're obviously paid for, but again, they work really well. So it's worth the investment. Yeah. But a lot of things, because we've just done a free trial of, Affinity Publisher. For a project we're working on. So if you're not sure if you need to actually invest in that software, look for the ones with free trials. I mean, this free trial is 6 months.
Yeah, 6 month free trial is pretty good.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, it's all about, you don't have to...
Yeah, and it's the equivalent, that software we're talking about is like the equivalent of Photoshop. And Photoshop is expensive. So there is 3 different softwares, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I think it's...
But a 6 month free trial of that is no-brainer.
No-brainer. And then the other one, which I was a bit of a shock because I thought, I've got to look into all this, is make sure you've got all the right insurances, not just for yourself, to protect yourself and your equipment, but obviously all of your sort of any public liability insurances, anything like that. Obviously do make sure that you're covered from all angles of what you need.
Yeah, she has all my details. She could turn me off right now.
I literally
You
could.
literally could turn my channel completely off, and then I'd be in the dark.
Yeah.
Completely.
That's fun. That's fun for me. There's a lot of power there, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, do check yourself. So I do have cover that if I accidentally, not on purpose, accidentally was to do something that harmed his business, I would be covered. For example, not that I'm planning to. Don't panic. And then we'll just, and then we'll just finish it off with a few sort of hints, tips and tricks that we've picked up along the way that hopefully you'll all find helpful as well.
Now, you did mention about changing your workspace.
Yes.
Because it does help, doesn't it?
Yes, massively.
If you are in the van or the motorhome camper van, it's where you're driving, it's your car, it's your where you wake up, where you eat, where you sleep, where you relax, where you watch your movies. So it can be quite overwhelming sometimes, can't it?
Absolutely, and especially if I say I'm having a foggy day, as I call it, and there's something out the corner of my eye. And I can't not look at it, and then you get distracted. And it's quite interesting. I've got a little stopwatch on my Mac. Again, really simple. I haven't paid for a timer. It's just a really simple stopwatch, and I start it some days. And it's amazing when you think you've been working for an hour, and then you look at that, and it's like 10 minutes. And I'm like, what else have I been doing? So sometimes getting out of the van, is a great way to do that.
Realistic targets.
Yes, Darren.
I don't have realistic targets ever. I think I'm Superman. I think I can get this to-do list, which will probably be this long, to the floor. And I think, I'll get all that done today. No worries.
And then you'll come up with like 10 new ideas.
And then I'll start one, and then I'll get distracted, and I'll add 10 more things to the list, and I'll be like, it's all right. Got hours left. We've got hours left of the day. End of the day comes. Done two, yeah. And they weren't even on the list. And they weren't even on the list. So, I need to really try harder, but it is set realistic goals, because you're only going to then be a bit down with yourself when you haven't hit them, and you're.
Definitely. What's that thing called, Beth? What is it called? The Matrix? Time management matrix. That's what my friend Beth gave me, and it's actually really helpful.
I'm going to go down a rabbit hole and search that now. I'll add 15 things to the list. See, it's great.
That's why you need me to care for you. Now, with the work-life balance, it still kind of goes on the same lines. But for example, I don't have my work software on my phone, so I can't be tempted. So I don't have Slack or Notion or even my work emails on my phone. So I can't be tempted to just quickly check that and then get distracted. I need to have that separation for me personally. Yeah,
and now it's along with that. Now, obviously, me and Tash are good friends, and she's a night owl like me. So if I'm gonna, because we're friends, we talk at night and all this and that. I'll text her, it's fine. But with the rest of the team, if I've got some harebrained idea or need something doing or update the team, I won't be texting them at like 10 o'clock at night, because that's just not acceptable. So I will just. Drop it in an email. I can even schedule the email to ping off at 7 o'clock in the morning. So even if their email pops on their phone, it's not because I haven't sent it at 11 o'clock at night or 1 in the morning. It will just send at 7 o'clock. They'll get it. So I'm not disturbing them on that time.
And that's a good way to brain dump as well. So then you can go to sleep later, which is really helpful. Now, obviously, it can feel, I don't know if any of you are looking to sort of set up anything, but it can feel quite lonely when you don't know where to turn, who to talk to. So I would say don't struggle. As I said, find out where your ideal client hangs out, but also find out where other people like yourself hang out. So I joined a few virtual assistant groups, for example, and that was just really helpful, because then you can ping questions, get support, share ideas. And these are people I don't know, I've never met, but it just really helped me to not feel like I was kind of drowning and figuring out where to start.
To be fair, if you're trying to do it, there's probably other people trying to do it as well. So you're in the same boat, so you can go learn together, get support, like you say, and there's plenty of groups out there.
Absolutely. And just on that point, actually, in terms of training, I just did a couple of easy online courses. I literally searched for virtual assistant courses. I did a free week taster one with one lady that runs her own VA school, and then I did another paid for one that cost me like £30. Again, I'm not saying that's going to be the same for everybody, but it's not too late to retrain if there's something you do want to do. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you use YouTube for that, don't you?
Yeah, I use YouTube a lot. So if I'm looking at a piece of software, so we've just been looking at a piece of software that we said about the 6-month trial, I will go onto YouTube and I'll type in that piece of software and then put VS, like versus, and then it will come up with all the competitors. And then you can watch a video, people that test them for you, so you haven't got to pay for it. You can see what it does, what it doesn't do, if it's going to suit your needs. And then when you've found one and you don't know how to use it, but you're going to go, right, I'm going to stick with that one, You've then got tutorials on how to use it, how to set it up for your needs. So it's just free training, really.
Absolutely. And just getting to the last one, so we've got some time for some questions if anyone's got any. With your data, when travelling outside of the UK, make sure you have enough data.
Yeah.
Because that did happen to me. I will hold my hands up. We thought we had more data on our SIM card. Turns out we didn't. We had to go get a local SIM card, but it was all fine.
Yeah.
So just
100%.
think about that. So I think that's everything, isn't it?
I think it is.
So now we've got time for some questions if anyone's got any.
Anyone questions?
Oh, we've done such a good job. Oh, no, we haven't done a good job. No, that's fine.
Really boring one to start with. If you don't have bricks and a house and an address, how do you get your mail, and where do you stand on national insurance and health, medical, dental care, that sort of thing, or are you all paying privately?
No, I'm not paying privately.
No.
So I'll tackle the address one first.
Yep.
So obviously we have care of addresses for our everyday needs, like mail. We don't have a lot of mail really, but for, you know, vehicle documents, things like that. But from a business point of view, obviously, because you go self-employed, you might not want, even if you had a house, you wouldn't want necessarily someone having that address. So you can get like UK virtual mail addresses, which are set up specifically for situations like this, so that you don't have to use your own address. So you could have that one. You can literally search that online as well.
Yep.
In fact, I found one in Shropshire when we were based there for a while. And you can actually use that as a service to have all of your business correspondence sent there, and you can use that address. What was the other thing?
Yeah, and with the healthcare thing, again, I'm still registered. I'm a type 2 diabetic, so I do have medication. I'm still registered where my family is, and I get my medication. It's online now, so I can go on there and get my repeat prescription, and I get it sent to a pharmacy around the country or to an address that I want to. So that's pretty easy. When I need appointments, I'll go back there, do the appointments, and then I'll continue back on the road. You've done care on the road as well?
Yeah, I was going to say we've done the same thing. So I have regular medication, and I think I'm with patient access. I registered through my doctors. Again, that's registered at my care of address, and I can pick up my prescriptions from anywhere in the UK. I just have to go on and change it in advance before I do the repeat order, and then I've picked it up from all sorts of places. National insurance, again, you do all your taxes online anyway, so you pay that. That's not a problem. Yeah. And even when I wasn't earning enough to reach the tax threshold, you can do the voluntary payments. So your payments were just paying for your national insurance.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know, because obviously I'm a self-employed sort of sole trader, so you don't offset things as such. So I don't really know. I'll be honest, I don't know the answer to that.
How much allowance business expenses can you run through the motorhome?
Yeah, you can. It's creative accounting.
I was going to say, I don't think we're not qualified to answer
I'm
that
not a
question.
qualified accountant, but I've got an accountant, and it's good.
We'll leave that one there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
When you're living in your van full time, and we watch you on videos
Yep.
on YouTube, you're always happy and bubbly, and
Yep.
except for when you went vegan mayonnaise.
Don't even get me started.
Why did you bring that up?
Yep.
It's upsetting.
It's my birthday, you know.
Do you get the days where you say, I've just had enough of this, I just want to switch off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you do. I'm not going to say you don't. I am lucky that I am quite a happy-go-lucky person, and if I'm not interested in work that day, I will quite easily find something to distract me, because I'll just look at something shiny, and I'll be chasing a sweet wrapper down the street or something. Pretty simple like that. But you do get the odd days. Obviously, if you're stuck in the rain, I am not one to go for massive long walks. Shock. So I don't look out the window going, oh, I wish I could be going for a walk right now, but it's raining. I don't really do that. So it doesn't really bother me that much. So, but there are days everyone has off days. But you just, if you've got something, a few little hobbies and that you can think, right, I'm not doing work today because I'm just not in the mood for it. I'm just going to watch Netflix or something, or I'm just going to chill reading a book or something,
Yeah, I think just allow yourself to have those days.
Yeah.
I think I've gone off. So just allow yourself to have those days. So I've got a few indoor hobbies to sort of help with my mental health on days like that. such as such as colouring or different things like that, something that's quite mindful. That's not for everybody, that's just what I found works for me. So the last few days when it's been raining, you actually didn't care, but I was doing laps of the campsite when it stopped raining at night because I wanted to get outside and I needed to move my body, but I knew I needed to do that, so I just did it. Just finding ways to cope with it, I think.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
What is it you find that compels you to move location most? Is it the next job, the next link, the next place, or do you choose
Food.
largely?
Food. It's food. When they start knowing my order regularly and I walk in, they go, regular, Daz, then I know it's time to move. Yeah. I move. I mean, now because I've more transitioned to this kind of thing, and I'm doing speaking events, and we do a lot of the shows and different festivals and this and that. I'm moving more with those, and then it's like usually a week or two in between, and then I'll be going from A to B, and then I'll just see what's in between, and then I'll go find out what's around there. But I don't. I mean, my ethos, I suppose, of wild camping and urban parking is just don't outstay your welcome. Don't burn out a park up and all this and that. That's, so I just move on to the next. Even if it's within the same town, I'll just find multiple park ups in the same town. That's why I move.
Yeah, I was going to say a similar thing, really. It depends what we're up to in that area. So it is exactly what you said. It depends if it's a work thing and we're in that area because John's working on a van or I've got something going on, and then we'll move on. Or it might be purely for pleasure because we want to go and visit that place. And then when we feel like we're done, we'll move on. Or if we didn't like it, we'll move on.
Yeah.
It all depends on what you're up to. So basically a mixture of all the things that you said. Could be work,
Yeah,
could be
100%.
because you don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you actually take a holiday?
Well,
Yeah, don't really, yeah.
yeah.
Well, that is obviously the perception.
Yeah,
from
that
the
is the
outside,
perception.
But
But you don't turn off.
No.
Because you're doing it, especially if you was doing more remote work, you're working for, I don't know, a call center, for instance, and then you log on at 10 in the morning and you're done by 2, you do your job and that's it. As soon as you close that laptop, take that headset off, whatever it is, you're done. You haven't got to think about it until 10 o'clock the next day and then that's it. But we sit down and we might just be going for dinner and then we'll start talking about, I could be doing this. I'm thinking of doing this video, or I'm thinking of going to this place and we might do this, or I've just got this new client and they need this. And you're talking about that whilst having dinner, and we all just said we're going to go out for dinner and just chill out. And you just start talking about it, don't you?
Exactly. So it probably depends on what type of job you have. Exactly as you said, if it's a set hours and it's for someone else, shut that down and away you go. But when it is your own business, sometimes you can't switch off. So we probably should take a holiday at some point.
I'm going to Portugal at the end of the month with my mum to take her away for her birthday for a week. Epic son, I know. Epic son. My brothers didn't do that. But I'm already looking at places out there that I can go film content whilst I'm there because I'm there. So, I'm going to be on holiday and spending time with her and that and doing, nice stuff like that. But I'm already going, right, I'm there, so what can I do? What videos can I film? It's just
the way it is.
It's just the way it is.
Depends on the type of person you are as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you can switch off. So.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same
It
thing.
is because it's your own business. You can't switch off from it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I've never had that. No, I think they like it because obviously I'll go through X amount of coffees and whatnot. If I could see that I was taking up space and there was people waiting to sit down, then I would move. But normally I'd try and pick somewhere where I could tuck myself away in the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm there for hours really. I've never had a problem.
Just check the parking signs before you drive in. I was in one and I outstayed my welcome. It said you could stay for 5 hours. 7 hours later, I was still there.
Yeah.
And then when I come out, I saw the board. And I thought, oh no.
We did that in a Morrison's once, didn't we?
yeah. But no, if you're tucked out somewhere out the way, every couple of hours I'll go get a coffee or something, or and they've usually got plugs, so just scout out where's a
plug
plug.
Sockets are.
And then you plug the MacBook in, you just sit there in the corner, got your headphones in. Most people just are oblivious, everyone's going about their day.
Yeah.
Unless there's nowhere to sit, then people start looking. You know?
Exactly. So that's a good one.
Any other questions? Yeah. Well, I'm actually sponsored by a VPN company, so I'd say yes, of course. No, depends on what you need it for, and what your goals are to use it. I mean, I mainly use my VPN for watching like Netflix in America. So if there's things like that, then I use it for that. If you're abroad and you want to access if you're out of the UK and you want to access a lottery or something, then you would need a VPN for that. But yeah, is there specific things you're thinking of using it for? Oh, for protection, yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to say the way I get around that, because I'm quite confident with the security that's on my MacBook, that's where my mobile router comes into it. So I won't actually use the public Wi-Fi. I'll use my own, so I know it's my own secure network. That's another way to get around it without necessarily having to. So I don't have a VPN, and touch wood, so far everything's safe as far as I'm aware. So yeah, I'd have my own network and do it that way.
But yeah, either or will work. Yeah.
It's a good question.
Yeah, really good question. Yeah. Any others? Yes?
Do you find that using AI assists you?
Yes. This is quite a new one. I love AI. AI is quite scary to some because it's very new, but it's like having a million workers and a million friends and being able to talk to it. It's just incredible. Yeah. It's really doing a lot at the moment, and I am experimenting a lot with AI at the moment. Yeah.
Shock. I'm not as. I mean, I like AI, but I only use it for the bare minimum of things. Sometimes to give me prompts or starters if I'm trying to create a project or start a project. But I'm definitely not on the big AI train just yet.
I know it's going to probably take over me and kill me at one point, so I'm just taking advantage of it before it does that to me. That's the only thing. That's the only reason. Right. Any other questions? No.
No. Cool. Excellent.
Wicked.
Well, thank you ever so much.
Thank you ever so much.